Nobody believed in this starship until a human built the ultimate galactic titan. It was enormous, larger than any vessel anyone had ever built on Terra Nova. Its hull stretched for kilometers, shining faintly under the workshop lights. Yet most of the galaxy laughed at it. Elias, a voice called from behind. It was Jara, his chief engineer. "You really think this thing can fly?" Elias didn't answer. He was already adjusting a panel, his fingers moving like lightning over the controls. He had been hearing this doubt for years, from corporations, alien investors, and even other humans. Everyone said it was impossible, impossible. That word drove him. "You see, Jara," Elias finally said, a small smile forming, "they don't understand, they never will, but that doesn't matter. We're not building it for them, we're building it for us, and for humanity." Jara shook her head. She had been with him from the beginning, and she knew that no amount of confidence could shield them from reality. But she also knew Elias. Once he decided something, nothing could stop him. Not ridicule, not politics, not death itself. The Titan Project, as it had been quietly named, had started as a dream. A crazy, impossible dream. A human-built starship, so advanced it could outthink enemies, adapt to attacks, repair itself, and fly faster than anything known in the galaxy. The concept alone was revolutionary, and everyone else hated it. Terra Nova was a small, relatively backward planet in the outer rim. Its technology was crude compared to the core worlds. Its citizens had few resources, and the government had almost no influence. And yet out here, a human engineer dared to challenge the galaxy. That audacity alone made Elias a laughingstock. "Another shipment just arrived," Jara said, pointing to the docking bay. Crates of exotic alloys, salvaged engines, and energy cores lay stacked like mountains. Elia's ship didn't rely on the standard corporate supply chains. Those were too slow, too expensive, too controlled by aliens who had never believed humans could innovate. Instead, he and his team scavenged what they could: wrecked ships, abandoned stations, forgotten mining colonies. Every piece they found had to be adapted, modified, and merged into the Titan. Each failure was a lesson, each breakthrough a miracle. Elias moved to a nearby hollow table and tapped it. Images of the starship floated in midair, its massive engines, complex weapon systems, and intricate internal layout. "Look here," he said. "The core drives." Alien tech tried to reverse engineer it before, but they could never make it stable. "We've cracked it. The Titan will move through space with no limitations. Nothing can chase us or trap us." "Except physics," Jara muttered, though even she knew he had pushed the boundaries of what was possible. Elias chuckled. "Physics is just a set of rules waiting to be challenged." The day passed in a blur of welding sparks, buzzing engines, and heated arguments about engineering calculations. Other members of the team, humans from all walks of life, a few alien technicians who secretly admired humans, stubborn ingenuity, worked tirelessly. They were misfits, castaways, and dreamers. Some had no other home. Together they were building something no one else dared to imagine. By evening, the Titan's main engines hummed softly, a gentle but promising sound. Elias walked along the hull, running his hands over the metal. "One day," he whispered, "you'll soar, and the galaxy will see what humans are capable of." A sudden alarm broke the quiet. A nearby asteroid field was destabilizing. One of the smaller cargo convoys traveling near Terra Nova was caught in the sudden collapse. The ships were tiny, fragile, and filled with civilians. "Elias," Jara shouted. "We can't save them, they're too far." Elias' eyes narrowed. "We'll see about that." He ran to the control panel and initiated a test sequence for one of the Titan's prototype modules, a small, mobile part of the full ship designed for emergency interventions. It wasn't supposed to handle this. No one expected it to. But Elias had designed it for adaptability. The module sprang to life, engines flaring as it shot toward the collapsing asteroid belt. Holomaps displayed the trajectory of each falling rock. Human ingenuity took over. Elias manually adjusted its movements, calculating angles and velocities at a speed that would have overwhelmed any AI from the core worlds. The module dove into the asteroid field. A rock twice the size of a shuttle hurtled toward a civilian ship. Elias pushed the module's energy repulsors to their limits. The rock slowed, veered off, and shattered against another asteroid, saving the convoy. Jara's mouth fell open. Did we just? Elias didn't answer. The module intercepted another rock, another, and another, until the convoy emerged relatively unscathed. Tiny pieces of debris floated harmlessly in the void, like glitter in space. News of the rescue spread like wildfire. Galactic channels buzzed with speculation. A human ship just saved a convoy in a collapsing asteroid belt. How? Some were curious. Some were skeptical. Most were just angry. No one liked being proven wrong. Back in the workshop, Elias allowed himself a rare moment of satisfaction. "One step closer," he said softly. "One step closer to the Titan." Days turned into weeks. The hull grew, the engines expanded, and weapon systems were installed. Each day brought new challenges: power surges, alien sabotage attempts, and even spies trying to steal the designs. But humans thrived under pressure. They adapted. They improvised. They survived. Elia's team began to attract attention, not just ridicule but curiosity. A few alien engineers, impressed by the sheer audacity, came forward with small donations of tech. Some even offered guidance. Humans were finally gaining allies, but only among those bold enough to respect ingenuity over tradition. One night, Elias stood atop the hull, staring at the stars. Terra Nova glowed faintly below. In the distance, core world ships patrolled, curious, cautious, and skeptical. They didn't understand humans. They underestimated them. Elias felt a thrill. The galaxy had always doubted humans, our strength, our intelligence, our creativity. That doubt was our greatest weapon. "Tomorrow," he said to Jara, who stood beside him, "we begin the full engine test. If it works, the Titan will leave orbit for the first time." Jara frowned. "Leaving orbit? It's not even finished." Elias smiled. "Exactly. We learn by doing. Humans don't wait for perfection. We create it in motion." As they prepared for the test, a new transmission came through. It was from an unknown source, heavily encrypted. Elias opened it cautiously. The message was brief. "You are being watched. The galaxy is not laughing forever. Keep going, human. Your Titan may be needed sooner than you think." Elias' heart raced. Unknown watchers, possible threats, yet he felt no fear. Humans thrived under danger. It sharpened the mind, strengthened the spirit. He turned to his team. "Tomorrow," he said, "we show the galaxy what humans can do, not for their approval, not for their admiration, but because we can, because we must." And for the first time, he allowed himself to imagine the Titan soaring into the stars, an unstoppable living monument to human ingenuity. The galaxy had laughed at them for too long. That laughter would soon die. The Titan hung in orbit above Terra Nova like a silent guardian. Its hull shimmered faintly against the blackness of space, a masterpiece of human engineering and determination. Though incomplete, its engines glowed with a soft blue light, promising power and speed that no one in the galaxy could ignore. Elias Kale stood on the observation deck, staring at the endless stars. He could feel it, the weight of every doubt, every insult, every ridicule the galaxy had thrown at him. And yet, for the first time, there was something else, a sense that maybe, just maybe, humans were about to prove themselves. "Sir," Jara said, breaking the quiet, "the scouts are still out there. I can see them on the long-range sensors. They haven't left our system yet." Elias didn't look away from the stars. "Good. Let them watch. Let them see what humans can do." The scouts were alien ships from Threx Varian's fleet. Threx was notorious across the Outer Rim for conquering small, defenseless worlds. He had heard rumors of the Titan, and curiosity had turned quickly into suspicion. The last thing any warlord wanted was a human-built ship capable of outmaneuvering and outsmarting conventional fleets. But Elias had other plans. "This is the first real test," he said to Jara. "Not just a module, not just a prototype. If the Titan can handle this, we're no longer just dreamers. We're a force." The first sign of danger came with a tremor in the planet's magnetic field sensors. A small human colony on Terra Nova's eastern continent reported unidentified ships entering orbit, fast, sleek, and deadly. The aliens weren't cautious, they were confident. "They're here," Jara said, "and they're heading straight for the settlement." Elias didn't hesitate. "Prepare the Titan, activate defensive protocols, keep the civilians safe. The rest, leave to me." The crew moved quickly, almost instinctively. Humans were adaptable by nature, a trait that alien civilizations often underestimated. Every engineer, pilot, and technician knew the plan: protect the people, outthink the enemy, and use the Titan's unique abilities to their advantage. Elias took his position in the cockpit. He ran his hands over the controls, feeling the pulse of the ship as if it were alive. The Titan responded instantly, its engines humming, shields activating, and adaptive weapon systems calibrating. "Approaching the settlement," Jara reported. "They're armed, shields are up, weapons ready." Elias smirked. "Good. Let's see how they handle humans when they can't predict our moves." The alien ships swooped into orbit with precision, expecting Terra Nova to fall quickly. Their weapons glinted in the sunlight as they opened fire. The settlement's standard defense systems flared uselessly against their advanced technology. Civilians panicked, hiding wherever they could. But Elias had no intention of letting fear win. He activated the Titan's first line of defense, a series of adaptive kinetic shields. They shimmered and shifted, absorbing the alien weapons and redirecting the energy in harmless bursts toward empty space. "Adaptive shields working," reported Jara. They're adjusting to the alien weapon signatures in real time." Elias nodded. "Exactly. Humans don't fight with predictable patterns. Why should our ships?" The Titan moved, slowly at first, testing the limits of its massive engines. Then faster. Alien ships tried to flank it, expecting to outmaneuver a slow, lumbering human vessel. But the Titan was no ordinary ship. Its engines adjusted instantly, shifting power between thrusters, and it twisted in impossible patterns. Aliens fired, missed, recalibrated, and fired again, only to meet more shields. The settlement below began to stabilize. Civilians peeked from bunkers, watching the enormous ship block and deflect attacks. Their hearts swelled with a mixture of fear and awe. For once, humans were not helpless. They had a guardian, a symbol that even in the darkest moments hope could shine. Elias made another decision. He activated the Titan's emergency propulsion burst. It surged forward, closing the distance between the alien fleet and Terra Nova's surface. Energy beams erupted from adaptive weapon systems, targeting engines and disrupting shield matrices. "Shields down on 2 ships," Jara shouted. They're retreating." Elias' grin widened. "Retreat is only temporary. They'll be back." And they were right. Word of the Titan's intervention spread faster than any fleet could travel. Messages reached distant star systems, sending shockwaves through galactic media channels. Humans, who had long been considered weak and technologically inferior, had built a ship that could face a warlord's fleet and survive. Meanwhile, Threx Varian watched from a distant vantage point, his massive flagship trembling with rage. His voice was a low growl as he spoke to his officers. "This human, he defies logic. I have seen fleets defeated by strategy alone, but this is different. Prepare the fleet. We will return, and we will crush them." Back on Terra Nova, Elias didn't sleep that night. He wandered the decks of the Titan, looking at his team resting in small quarters. Misfits, dreamers, and outcasts, yet now they were the heroes of a planet. "This is only the beginning," he said softly, almost to himself. "The galaxy doesn't believe in us yet, but soon they will, and when they do, it will be too late to stop humanity." The next morning brought another challenge. Alien scouts approached from multiple directions, testing defenses, probing the Titan's capabilities. Every human crew member was alert, every system monitored. Humans did not panic. Humans did not falter. They adapted. Elias made use of unconventional tactics. He feigned weakness in one sector, luring enemy ships closer, and then used energy displacement technology to disable their engines. He exploited patterns the aliens thought impossible, turning human creativity into a weapon. For hours, the battle continued, with the Titan moving fluidly through orbit, defending the settlement below. Civilians watched from secure bunkers as alien ships retreated again and again, unable to predict or counter the human-built Titan. At one point, a particularly large alien ship broke through a section of the shields and headed straight for the colony's power hub. Elias acted instantly. He maneuvered the Titan beneath the falling ship and used a precisely timed energy pulse to divert it. The ship slammed harmlessly into a nearby asteroid, sparing the colony. Jara gasped. I can't believe it, we did it." Elia's expression was serious. "No, Jara, we just survived the first wave. The galaxy will test us again. Harder, smarter, stronger. That's when humans will show their true strength." By the end of the day, the alien scouts retreated to relay information to Threx Varian's main fleet. They reported back with hesitation, fear even, noting that the Titan had survived multiple engagements, protected civilians, and outmaneuvered their technology. Meanwhile, humans across Terra Nova cheered, celebrating their defenders. Children waved at the shimmering ship in orbit, elders whispered tales of human ingenuity, and the planet's leaders began to rethink their underestimated place in the galaxy. The Titan's legend was growing. It wasn't just a ship anymore. It was a symbol, a proof that humans could achieve the impossible, that courage, creativity, and determination were more powerful than brute force. And across the galaxy, civilizations began to notice, some with envy, some with curiosity, and some with fear. Threx Varian, however, was not one to accept defeat easily. He studied the Titan relentlessly, sending spies and drones to analyze its movements. He could not understand how a human-built ship could survive where his fleets failed, and that anger only made him more dangerous. Elias, unaware of the full scope of attention they had drawn, focused only on his team. "We've done well," he said, "but this is just the beginning. We need to keep improving. Faster engines, better shields, smarter systems. We must be ready for whatever comes next." Jara nodded. "And the galaxy will watch." Elias smiled faintly. "Let them watch. They'll see what humans can do when they refuse to quit." That night, as the Titan orbited silently above Terra Nova, unknown eyes observed from deep space. Alien scouts sent back encrypted reports. One message repeated again and again: "Humans, they are different. Their ships, their minds, they are dangerous." And Elias, standing on the observation deck, knew this truth. The galaxy had finally begun to take humans seriously, but he also knew danger was coming. The Titan had survived its first test, but the real battle, the one that would define humanity's place among the stars, was yet to come. Cliffhanger. Far beyond Terra Nova, Threx Varian's massive fleet stirred. Hundreds of warships, armed with weapons designed to obliterate entire worlds, moved toward the outer rim. They had learned of the Titan, and this time they would not retreat. The galaxy watched. And humans were ready. The void of space stretched endlessly, dark and silent, but it was far from peaceful. In the distance, the black shapes of hundreds of alien warships moved like a storm across the stars. Threx Varian's fleet, massive and relentless, had arrived. They carried weapons capable of destroying entire planets, but none had ever faced a human-built starship like the Titan. Elias Kale stood at the helm, eyes scanning the alien formation through the ship's wide observation windows. The Titan, though incomplete, was alive with energy. Its engines pulsed with power, its adaptive shields hummed softly, and the team of human engineers and pilots moved with precise coordination, ready for the challenge ahead. "Status report," Elias demanded. Jara's voice came through clearly, calm but tense. "Shields at 80% efficiency. Weapons systems online. Enemy fleet formation indicates direct assault. They're confident, but they're moving slower than expected." Elias allowed himself a small smile. Confidence, arrogance, even, would be their weakness. Humans thrived on unpredictability, and the aliens had never learned that lesson. The first wave of enemy ships fired, energy beams ripping through space toward the Titan. The adaptive shields flared, bending and dispersing the energy harmlessly. The alien weapons were strong, designed to overwhelm conventional defenses. Yet the Titan's systems adjusted, analyzed the patterns, and countered with precision. "Hull integrity holding," Jara reported. "No critical damage." Elias gritted his teeth. "Good. Now let's remind them that humans fight differently." He initiated the Titan's next phase, tactical deception. Using advanced cloaking arrays and energy-mimicking technology, the ship split its energy signature across multiple positions. The aliens, relying on sensors and brute force, fired at illusions. Each shot wasted, each salvo a testament to human ingenuity. "Come on, Threx," Elias muttered. "Show me what you've got." The enemy commander had underestimated humans. They had faced cunning fleets before, but never one that could think as fluidly as a human mind combined with advanced adaptive systems. The Titan moved unpredictably, striking where it was least expected, then vanishing from sight moments later. Alien ships collided, misfired, or crashed into each other in confusion. Yet the battle was not without cost. One strike hit a secondary engine array. Sparks flew across the control deck, alarms blaring. Human engineers raced to patch the damage while pilots kept the Titan agile, dodging continuous barrages of energy fire. Elias barked orders, each one clear, precise, and fast. "Divert 20% power to the aft shields. Activate the kinetic countermeasures. Jara, synchronize weapon targeting with adaptive sensors." The humans worked like a single organism, a symphony of instinct, intellect, and courage. Each move combined strategy and improvisation, a combination no alien fleet had ever faced. Then the first major breakthrough came. Elias detected a weakness in the alien formation. Their firing patterns were rigid, programmed to expect standard evasive maneuvers. He exploited it ruthlessly. The Titan's engines surged in bursts of unimaginable speed, weaving between energy blasts and striking at the enemy flagship with a concentrated energy pulse. The alien flagship shuddered violently, its shields flickering. Chaos spread across the fleet. The smaller ships were disoriented, retreating, or colliding. For the first time, the Titan had shifted the battle. Humans were not just surviving, they were dominating. But Elias knew the fight was far from over. Threx Varian would not give up so easily. The warlord's massive battleship, still functional, began to concentrate all firepower on the Titan. Hundreds of beams converged, aiming to pierce the adaptive shields simultaneously. Jara shouted, "This is too much. Shields won't hold for long." Elia's eyes blazed with determination. "Then we changed the rules of the fight." He activated the Titan's experimental energy conversion system. The ship absorbed the incoming energy, converting it into raw power for the engines and weapons. The shields grew stronger as the energy attacks became fuel, turning the aliens' strength against them. "Unbelievable," muttered a young engineer, barely believing what she was seeing. "It's feeding off their weapons," Elias grinned. "Humans don't just fight, we adapt." The Titan surged forward, faster than the aliens could track. It struck with precision, targeting engine cores and weapon arrays. Alien ships were disabled one by one, forced to retreat. Then came a pivotal moment. One of the alien ships, larger than the rest, broke through the Titan's shields, heading straight for Terra Nova's surface. Civilians would be destroyed in minutes if it struck. Elias didn't hesitate. He pushed the Titan to its limits, using the last remaining energy reserves to intercept the ship. A calculated collision, timed perfectly, diverted the enemy vessel into a nearby asteroid field. The explosion shook space, but Terra Nova was safe. Jara exhaled deeply. You did it. You saved them all." Elias shook his head. "We saved them because we had no other choice, and because humans never back down." The alien fleet, now battered and demoralized, began to retreat. Threx Varian himself had never faced such resistance. Reports from his remaining scouts described the Titan as alive, cunning, unstoppable. For Elias and his crew, the victory was significant but sobering. The Titan had proven itself, but the galaxy's attention was now fixed squarely on humans. Elias walked through the ship's corridors, observing his team. Engineers repaired systems, pilots recalibrated weapons, and every member felt the weight of what they had just achieved. They were no longer the outsiders, the misfits. They were a symbol of human ingenuity and courage. "We've done well," Elias said to Jara as they stood overlooking the main engine bay. "But this is only the beginning. Threx will return with more ships, more power, more strategy. We must be ready." Jara nodded. "The galaxy will be watching now. Everyone will know that humans can fight." Elias smiled faintly. "Let them watch. They'll see that humans are more than just survivors. We're creators, innovators, fighters, and when we fight, we win." News of the Titan's triumph spread across Terra Nova and the Outer Rim. Human colonies, long overlooked and underestimated, celebrated the victory. Children waved at the shimmering starship in orbit. Scientists and engineers from other worlds began contacting Elias, eager to learn from the humans' ingenuity. But not everyone celebrated. In the shadows of deep space, Threx Varian studied his reports, fury in his eyes. "A human-built ship defeating my fleet," he muttered. "Impossible, this cannot stand. We will return, and this time the galaxy will burn." Back on the Titan, Elias didn't sleep that night. He walked along the observation deck, staring at the stars. The battle had tested the ship and its crew. They had survived. They had triumphed. And the galaxy, finally, was beginning to recognize humanity's potential. But Elias knew the real challenges were yet to come. The Titan had survived its first major engagement, but enemies would grow bolder, more numerous and more relentless. Every victory would bring new threats. Every success would attract attention from civilizations that could neither understand nor accept humans' ingenuity. Still, he was undeterred. Humans were not built to be afraid of challenges. Humans thrived on them. And the Titan, a living embodiment of human determination, would be ready. Jara joined him on the observation deck. "Do you think they understand what we are capable of?" Elias shook his head slowly. "No, not yet, but they will. And when they do, it will change the galaxy forever." As they looked out into the endless darkness, distant stars flickering like silent witnesses, a signal appeared on the Titan's long-range sensors. It was faint, almost imperceptible, a pulse from deep space, originating far beyond any known charted system. Elias leaned forward, curiosity sparking in his eyes. "This could be interesting," he whispered. The Titan, humanity's greatest creation, had not only survived. It had grown stronger, smarter, and more legendary. And somewhere in the infinite galaxy something, or someone, had noticed. Cliffhanger, far beyond known space, an unknown signal pulsed repeatedly. Its origin was mysterious, its message unclear, but it was a challenge. And the Titan, with humans at its helm, was ready to answer. The void of space was alive with tension. Hundreds of alien warships filled the black expanse, their dark hulls gleaming under distant stars. Threx Varian's fleet had returned, larger, deadlier, and more determined than ever. This time, there would be no hesitation. The galaxy's most feared warlord intended to annihilate Terra Nova and crush the human threat once and for all. Elias Kale stood at the helm of the Titan, his hands steady on the controls. The ship's hull hummed beneath him, alive with energy and purpose. He had faced impossible odds before, but this was unlike anything humanity had encountered. Entire fleets, armed with weapons designed to destroy planets, now focused on a single starship. "Status?" Elias asked, voice calm though adrenaline surged through him. Jara, standing beside him, quickly scanned the holographic display. Shields at 90% efficiency. Engines stable, weapon systems fully online, but there are too many of them, they'll overwhelm us if we don't act smart. Elias nodded. Then we don't fight like they expect. Humans survive because we adapt. Humans survive because we think differently. Let's show them why. The fleet opened fire. Beams of energy cut across space toward the Titan. The adaptive shields flared, absorbing, dispersing, and redirecting the attacks in patterns the aliens could not predict. Each volley of weapons became wasted energy, leaving the aliens frustrated and confused. "Shields holding," reported Jara. "But the fleet isn't stopping. They're coming at us full force." Elias smirked. "Good. Then they'll learn the cost of underestimating humans." He activated the Titan's full tactical system. Using the adaptive engines, the ship darted between blasts, twisting in impossible maneuvers. Alien sensors couldn't track it, weapons fired blindly, and the Titan struck in ways no alien fleet had anticipated. Small ships were disabled first, their engines fried, leaving them drifting helplessly in space. The larger warships focused on the Titan, unleashing devastating energy barrages. Yet Elias had planned for this. The Titan absorbed the energy using its experimental conversion system, redirecting it into its engines and weapons. Each attack made the Titan faster, stronger, deadlier. "Humans never fight like others," muttered a young engineer in awe. "It's incredible." Elias barked orders, every command precise and fast. "Divert power to aft shields, target their weapon arrays. Jara, reroute energy to the forward pulse cannons." The Titan responded instantly, moving as if alive. Energy beams struck the alien flagship, disabling its shields. Smaller enemy ships collided with one another, confused and disoriented by human tactics. Still, the battle was far from won. One of Threx's massive warships broke through the outer shield ring and aimed directly at a human colony. Civilians would die if it hit. Elia's jaw tightened. "We cannot let them destroy innocents. Prepare the emergency response sequence." The Titan surged forward, engines glowing brightly. With precise timing, Elias activated the energy pulse cannons, striking the warship's core systems. Sparks flew across its hull and it spun uncontrollably before colliding with a nearby asteroid. The colony remained safe. "Another victory," Jara said breathlessly, though her voice carried the weight of exhaustion. Elias shook his head. "Temporary. Threx will not stop." "He never stops." As the battle raged on, Elias realized brute force alone would not win. The Titan had to outthink the enemy. He studied the fleet's formation and movement patterns, noting their reliance on predictable strategies. Humans thrived on unpredictability. "Adaptive combat mode," he ordered. "Let's turn their own fleet against them." The Titan split its energy signatures into multiple locations, creating illusions of itself across the battlefield. Alien ships fired at decoys, missing repeatedly. The real Titan moved behind the fleet, striking weak points and disabling engines one by one. The aliens were caught in a trap of their own making, unable to respond to humans' fluid tactics. Elias could feel the tide turning. The Titan had become more than a ship. It was a symbol of human ingenuity, courage, and adaptability. Every maneuver, every strike, every calculation reflected not just technology, but human spirit. Suddenly, the battle reached a critical point. Threx's flagship had recovered and aimed its main cannon at Terra Nova itself. The energy blast could obliterate the planet in moments. "Elias," Jara shouted. "If it fires, everything will be destroyed." Elia's mind raced. There was only one solution. The Titan's remaining energy reserves would be enough to intercept the blast, but it would push the ship to its limits and risk catastrophic damage. "Do it," he said firmly. "For humanity." The Titan surged forward, engines glowing white-hot. Shields braced for impact. As the alien cannon fired, the Titan absorbed the energy pulse with its adaptive conversion system. The ship trembled under the force, but the blast was neutralized, scattered harmlessly into space. "Energy absorption complete," Jara said, her voice trembling with relief. Elias allowed himself a brief moment to breathe, but there was no time for celebration. The fleet, though weakened, still threatened the outer colonies. Humans could not afford mistakes. "Now," Elias said, eyes blazing, "we finish this." The Titan launched a coordinated assault. Using its adaptive weapons, it struck each ship's weak points with pinpoint accuracy. Enemy engines failed, weapons shut down, and fleets collided in confusion. Aliens who had underestimated humans now faced annihilation. Through strategy, creativity, and courage, the Titan dismantled the fleet piece by piece. Every victory was a testament to what humans could achieve when faced with impossible odds. Finally, only Threx Varian's flagship remained. Massive, heavily armored, and armed with devastating weapons, it was a formidable opponent. But Elias had learned one thing: humans could think, adapt, and improvise in ways no alien fleet could predict. "Jara," he said calmly, "prepare the final maneuver. We end this." Using the Titan's full capabilities, Elias executed a daring attack. Cloaking, engine bursts, and energy pulses combined into a single, unpredictable strike. The flagship's shields faltered under the assault. With a final surge, the Titan struck its core, disabling engines and weapons. Threx Varian's ship spun helplessly, drifting into the void. The battle was over. The humans aboard the Titan cheered, though exhaustion weighed heavily. They had survived the impossible, defended their world, and proven the galaxy wrong. Elias looked out at Terra Nova. The planet was safe. Civilians emerged from shelters, cheering and waving at the Titan above. Children's eyes sparkled with hope. Elders whispered in awe of human ingenuity. "This," Elias said softly to Jara, "is what humans are capable of. Courage, intelligence, creativity together, nothing can stop us." Jara smiled. "The galaxy will never forget this." Indeed, the news spread across star systems. Aliens and humans alike spoke of the Titan, the ship that had defeated the greatest fleet in the Outer Rim. Stories spread of a human-built starship that could outthink, outmaneuver, and survive against overwhelming odds. Humanity, long underestimated, was now recognized as a force to be reckoned with. In the darkness of space, far beyond Terra Nova, unknown observers watched. They had taken note of humans' rise, of the Titan's victories, and of the courage that powered both. Whispers traveled across unknown sectors. Humans are dangerous. Their ship, it is alive. Their spirit, unstoppable. Back on the Titan, Elias and his crew celebrated quietly. They were exhausted, battered, and yet victorious. They had proven that humans, even in the face of overwhelming odds, could innovate, endure, and triumph. But Elias knew the journey was far from over. The galaxy would watch them, challenge them, and test them again. Yet the Titan was ready. Humans were ready. As the crew looked out into the stars, a faint signal pulsed from deep space, the same signal detected before the final battle. Its origin was mysterious and its message unknown. Elias stared at the readings, excitement sparking in his eyes. "Looks like we have another challenge," he said, voice calm but determined. The Titan, battered but undefeated, floated silently above Terra Nova. It was no longer just a ship. It was a legend, a symbol of human ingenuity, courage, and spirit. The galaxy had finally learned the truth. Humans were more than survivors. They were creators, innovators, fighters. And when they fought, they did not just survive, they conquered, they inspired, and they became unstoppable. Ending HFY moment. The Titan, humanity's ultimate creation, would forever shine as a beacon of hope, ingenuity, and courage. Aliens whispered in awe. They didn't just build a ship, they built a legend. And somewhere, far beyond known space, the unknown observers waited, curious. But one thing was certain: the galaxy would never underestimate humanity again. Final cliffhanger for sequels. The Titan's sensors detected the source of the mysterious signal. A presence, intelligent, ancient, and powerful, was observing them. The humans had survived their first great war, but a larger, more mysterious challenge was coming. The Titan roared to life once more, engines glowing like fire against the stars. Elias Kale smiled, gripping the controls. "Let them come," he said. "Humanity is ready."